So today's vlog is a little bit different actually because I'm in Dubai. So I'm not going to be as steady as I normally am, and I'm going to just be kind of walking through a little bit about what's been going on AudioFlow, some client conversations, the fact that I've actually just closed a £9,600 deal, which has gone through and onboarded the client. So I'll kind of talk you through that. And then also just kind of why I'm actually in Dubai. Dubai, obviously people keep talking about it and it's great for networking on all that good stuff. In honesty, so far, the networking scene and me reaching out to people hasn't actually been as good as what I thought it would be. I thought people would be a lot more open just to be like, yeah, sure, let's meet. But you have to remember, people are actually busy out here. So the people who I've actually reached out to, I had one meeting with one person, but the others basically said they're busy. So it is a bit of a knock in the sense of like, I came here to network and obviously see what the Dubai scene is like when it comes to learning. One guy tried to charge me like $300 just to have a conversation with him. So you can kind of see that like money mindset, like it's nothing's here for free. I think the other two people who didn't actually speak to me, if there was some sort of incentive or kind of like a scenario where they would get something, I think then they would probably be more than likely want to meet. So I think it's very transactional here in the sense of what people will be doing in willing to meet you. So I think if they're going to want to meet you, it's because they're going to get something in return. And that is probably the downfall of like this Dubai networking mentality. Nobody will do anything for you for the sake of doing it. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody, but that's just the interactions I've had so far. So not the best when it comes to this whole like networking, money mindset type of vibe. But I mean, I've only been here for like 3 or 4 days, and I did do some like outreach like the week before I got here to say I'm on the way. But it is what it is, and we move on. So just a little flat tour, really. So I've just got an Airbnb because this time I actually wanted to see what it's like living in Dubai. Got my little setup here with 2 monitors, obviously working on AudioFlow and some outreach as well. So what I'll do is I'll do like some walk and talk so you can kind of see what I'm working with here. I mean, it's a nice Airbnb. The room's a bit of a mess. You can see over here, nice bed. There is some en-suites. Kitchen was over there, but I think most reason why you're kind of in Dubai is because of the weather, and it is perfect weather, to be honest. 27 degrees I think it's going to be today. Nice to be able to wear a vest. I think it's snowing or was snowing in the UK. So I'm just going to go back in because it's quite bright while you're trying to film a video. So yeah, kind of some updates of what has been going on. So I think in my last video I talked about a grant that I'm going to be applying for. So today there's a webinar just kind of talking about the grant application. So this grant, it's from a company called Viotech. And what they do is that they're going to be giving out grants for companies who work within the educational space for adults and kind of like skill building. And it sits perfectly for AudioFlow because that's kind of our target audience anyway. I haven't really focused on like ed tech, so educational technology for like schools and universities and kind of like higher education, mainly because I think that the money is within B2B in the sense of like enterprise and corporate companies, but it's a different avenue because they'll have budget and probably the fit of AudioFlow might actually work really well for them. So I'm going to see if I can get anything from that grant. Now, there are a lot of grants out there. I think you just need to figure out like what grants are good for you and your business. Obviously, I don't really want to go for investment right now because I don't think I'm at the stage where anybody would be as interested, or they will just take, how to say it nicely, the piss when it comes to taking a percentage because it is still a low valued company. So more than likely, if somebody's going to give me like 100 grand, they're going to want quite a lot of percentage of the business. So I think for me, it's all about building, getting some conversations. I have got some very good leads. I had one call on Monday with a pretty good communications company, which is global. Got a global payments systems company. I'm not going to name the brands, but a payment system company, next week when I get back to the UK. What I've also done is I've gone on to LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So this is about $100 per month. And it's basically what I did is I looked at what my target audience is for quick buyers. And medium companies have a less red tape when it comes to purchasing software, but they probably have a need for it because they have like a smaller team. So I've basically created like a list over Sales Navigator. So filtered down to the list what I think is right for a medium company. Looked at the people who like heads of learning, heads of communications, built 2 lists, and now I'm basically starting to connect with all of them. So there's something that I've learned recently, which is kind of like called the 7-step approach when it comes to sales, because most people, when you start like messaging people over LinkedIn, they probably will ignore you. So I think it's like 7 steps to hopefully get that person to have that conversation, initial conversation with you. And that's probably something that I haven't done enough of, is kind of like I message once and then that's it. I don't really kind of go back, because I know how annoying it is when I used to like work in the other side of it, and I used to get the same message from people and I'm like, just take the hint, like I'm not interested. And I have a feeling I'm going to have to go through that pain. Now there's 2 choices. I do that, or I potentially look to get somebody from like India or Fiverr or whatever, just to do like the nitty gritty outreach for me. And then when it comes to the actual sales, the calls in my diary, then I will have that conversation to actually try to sell it and get it over the line. At the moment, I don't really have the luxury to be able to spend an extra like £400-500 on somebody to do this. Sorry, holding a phone after a while kind of tires your shoulder. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to basically do is basically just go through these lists, outreach. I've got the messages in place. I think the other thing is potentially build a scraper for their emails as well. So I'm like hitting them from LinkedIn, email, and other avenues. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I am at the moment. The interesting thing is that I actually had a first stage interview in Dubai for a job, for a pretty big company. Not whilst I was here, I had it prior to coming, and yet again, I asked for a coffee with that person, and he said he was too busy because he's going to be traveling on Thursday. So fingers crossed, might get back something from there. I am actively just started to apply for jobs as well, because there are some in the market, and it's not because I don't want to fully focus on AudioFlow. I think I just need some cash flow, because I've noticed like I need to invest quite a lot of money, and if I use that money to invest in the business, I'm not going to have money to support my family. So I'm needing to like kind of probably go back into work for a little bit just whilst I'm building in the background. So fingers crossed something will come out of it. I think I'm probably just going to stick to the UK for now. As much as I want to move to Dubai, the more I've kind of like done some shopping around. I went to schools. My oldest child has special needs, so kind of like looking for schools for him is a little bit more different than in the UK. So definitely things to kind of like consider when you are looking to move, if you are looking to move to the UK, and if you have like additional things that your family might need to look at. I've got like family out here, my nephew's out here, he's young, he's single. It's easy life for him, in the sense of like just come pack your bags and go. But when you've got a family and you've got a mortgage in the UK, things get a little bit more complicated and a lot more things you need to think about. I think if you have like 2 neurotypical children, which I don't want to say normal, but in the hearsay is, then it's a little bit easier. It's still costly, especially if you're doing this for yourself. Schools are costly out here. So if you have a company who's willing to pay for your school fees or help with the school fees, that's always a benefit. But at the same time, I think, yeah, there's a lot of kind of considerations to do if you are actually going to move your family to the UAE, because everything costs. And even if you have insurance through like hospitals or whatever, you still have to pay for something even if you have insurance or part of that kind of like treatment or whatever. So it can get really costly out here if you really want to move. And as down as the UK is, it's actually really good for kids with special needs. So yeah, things to consider. But kind of like my next steps in this venture of AudioFlow is I built some new features on there. So a potential client has asked for a dubbing kind of like conversion of their current podcast that they have in English, and they want to convert it into different languages. Now, so there's 2 features that are basically built on AudioFlow. One is And I kind of built this live in my previous episode. One is to take the transcript of the actual audio and rebuild it in a different language with 2 different complete speakers. The other feature that I've added is dubbing. So you can basically dub and clone the voices of the existing podcast, and then it will then convert it into the language you select. From the back end, from an API perspective, it's quite expensive, especially when you're plugging into third-party companies to do this. So you have to kind of cost accordingly if this is the feature you want to add. So everything at the moment is kind of being like flat line, like 1 token equals 1 minute. But I think if I was to add this feature permanently onto the platform, it will have to just increase the token usage, probably to 10 tokens per minute, just because of the model behind it. So when you're kind of adding these extra features to your products, you have to kind of think of the cost can't even say the word, now I'm definitely going to try the cost of what that's actually going to cost for you to actually do this. So lots to think about when it comes to that. So I think I've got a call like I said before, I got the call with the grant company today. It's at 10 o'clock in the UK time, so that works out as 2 o'clock here in Dubai. Going to take that. I'm going to do some more work, speak to my developer who's helping me build something on AudioFlow, because at the moment through Lovable it's not letting me do the token allowance correctly. So like if somebody's using their tokens, it's not actually taking any usage. So that's something that I'm going to do. Have a coffee, probably hit the gym, and then continue working. And then I need to actually take some time off. Like even though I'm in Dubai and I'm actually just working my ass off, like I'm not actually seeing Dubai, but I think that was the purpose of me coming, is to see what it's like to live here, like routine working. Am I actually going to get work done when there's so many distractions out here? So I have said to myself, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will just chill by the pool, go to the gym, maybe go get some good food. I have been getting good food. Like that's the main thing of Dubai, is like good food. So that's more in the evening. But like now I'm working. You can see my setup. Everything's just turned off because I'm just vlogging at the moment. But I think let's see what happens with this grant application, how complicated it is to get through the door. Hopefully I can get a good sense of like if I'm going to be able to get the 60,000. I think it's project based, so I think it's more about like I can use it for marketing. I think it's like I want to advance my product to be able to do X. So my kind of big thing with AudioFlow is to add emotion into the conversation. So if I can get funding to be able to play with some models, advance the AI, advance the platform, maybe move it away from Lovable to make it more sustainable, over long term, that is probably what that funding will go for. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. If you want any more kind of like updates on this startup journey of AudioFlow, Lovable, and anything in between, let me know. I'm going to be doing a lot more Lovable builds as well, because I realized that that's basically what a lot of people actually followed me for. So I'm going to be doing a lot more when it comes to Lovable, but obviously normally I record that on my other computer when I'm at home. So when I get back to the UK next week, I will do an episode and I will do a build, and I'll probably just show you how I built the integration for the dubbing, and that's because that's the kind of the latest feature, and maybe some like bug fixing, because one thing with having actual live clients is that you're getting feedback live from them. So I'll show you some like the quick little niggly bits that I didn't notice even was a thing. But they've noticed, such as like changing titles on podcasts. I wouldn't even do that before. Now I can. So like little things from clients, which you might not think about, because when you're building it, you kind of miss certain things. So getting real customer feedback right now is actually the most valuable thing that I'm getting. And yeah, they might not be this happy because the onboarding wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be, but all users are on there. Everybody's using it. Everyone's happy at the minute. So jobs are good. And so I'll give you an update. I'll give you probably another vlog update before I leave Dubai, just to let you know what's going on. And then, we'll leave it there. So nice to see you. And if you want more of this information about me building an AI project, getting customers, the pain of actually getting to market, the strategy that I'm doing, all bootstrapped, no money, in the sense of like using my own money, no investment money. Come on this journey with me for AudioFlow. If you want any tips on how to build anything on Lovable or need any help with that, give me a shout. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.